Number 2, right there in their records, sexual assault. 15% of all claims are young women coming forward and saying, I was sexually assaulted at the fraternity house. So I think parents, particularly of daughters, need to understand that the fraternity industry is quite explicit about the huge amount of sexual assault claims that they're dealing with. And they're not coming forward and saying these are insubstantive claims. For the most part, they're paying these claims.
First years are like moving in and they're super excited and like their dreams are coming true. It's awesome.
But now I've seen it through, and now I know the truth, that anything could happen, anything could happen, anything could happen.
This is that now infamous video, pledges of Delta Kappa Epsilon walking through the Yale campus chanting sexist remarks. An outrage to many on campus, including members of the Yale Women's Center, who accused the frat of advocating rape and violence against women.
Several angry protests this week, sparked by a scathing Rolling Stone article. An 18-year-old freshman telling the magazine the devastating story of her alleged rape by 7 young men at a Phi Kappa Psi fraternity in 2012.
Sexual assault as a problem on college campuses, I would say, is a huge problem. It's almost a plague of sorts.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
This 911 call has never been broadcast before.
Please, your doctor.
We want to warn you, it's disturbing.
Tell me what happened. I need to take off my clothes. I want to go back. I want to go back to my friends. And he said no.
But Abby Honold says it's important for people to hear it.
He just got me.
A friend of mine introduced me to him, and he told me that Daniel was gay and that, you know, he was a big fan of Daniel.
Daniel Drill Mellum was a good-looking 21-year-old senior. He had the reputation of a wealthy fraternity boy.
The fun turned for me the minute I walked into Daniel Drill Mellum's apartment. I would say that's when I immediately knew that there was something wrong.
Abby blacked out. When she came to, sheer terror. She was pinned down on Daniel's bed, and he was ripping her clothes off. Abby says Daniel left claw marks all over her body, bit large chunks of flesh out of her breasts, and stuck his fist so far down her mouth, he sliced open part of her tongue. Abby is rushed to the hospital. The sexual assault nurse on call that day reportedly described Abby's injuries as some of the worst she had seen in her 15 years of service.
I think that girls dressing up in extremely provocative outfits and drinking ridiculous amounts of alcohol and going to any party on campus, they're setting themselves up for a hookup of sorts.
Maybe they're all great guys and they go into it, but the way they live for 3 years in a fraternity house changes them.
Party's over! Cops are here!